What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Pour. I'm Jordan.
I'm Brian.
There's nothing worse, Brian. You find a new bottle of bourbon that you've been wanting to try. You go to the store, pick it up, buy it, pour it in a glass, and it just kind of lets you down. Or maybe it doesn't even have to be necessarily bad. It's just not quite up to snuff. Mm-hmm. And so today we're talking about 8 different bottles that recently we've had that experience with. So let's jump right into it. Do a little dive here. I'll get us started. So I'm going to start with this Few Bottled in Bond. So normally I really like bottled in bond products. So they're out of Illinois, something that Keith was able to get in at Vic's. Mm-hmm. Got a bottle now. It's kind of been sampled out quite a bit, but just didn't hit the spot for me. Yeah, I can't remember anything in particular. I just remember
it has a real dull taste to it. I have a bottle of it too and don't like it either. Yeah, it was one I got from Flaviar. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But it was one of the samples, or not a sample. It was a bottle offered, and I thought I've never had any of their stuff, and I heard good things, and that's why I went out and bought it. It was brutal. Yeah, and in the proof, it's only 100 proof, but it kind of burns. And that burn doesn't match any of the flavors. So. Yeah, I didn't care for it either. So no. It was my first one. This was one that we did at our last bourbon pour that we had, the Bullet 10. Yeah. And I'd had it before and thought, it's okay. It's not bad. And then we put it up against the other offerings, and it was terrible. They were up here, and this was last place, and it wasn't even close. No,
and this is the 10-year age statement, and it tastes like 20 years of oak done poorly. I don't want to harp on them too much, but the oak on it, I don't know if it was a bad batch or
regular Bullet and regular
the rye or
good stuff. Phenomenal. But it just was way underwhelming. Yeah. Not good, and it was unanimous.
Yeah, bitter oak.
Nobody liked it. Yeah. It was the last place by far. Yeah, so. Yeah. I have to take that back. A few people liked it. Yeah, because every one of them got votes, so that's good. Yeah.
There was a lot of bourbon served that night, so maybe that's fine. All right, next bottle for me. This one also kind of breaks my heart because this is a rye, and this is a distillery I really love, Frey Ranch. This is their Frey Ranch bottled in bond rye, 100% slow-grown winter rye. Just grassy and overall just not what I'm looking for. None of the normally citrusy, bubblegummy kind of notes that I'm looking for in a rye like that. Didn't get any of those. And it's just pretty underwhelming. Yeah. And had a really high hopes for that just because I do love Frey Ranch. Everything else I've had has been...
I know you let me try it. I don't remember what I didn't like about it, but I do remember it wasn't very good.
Right,
so,
right. Yeah.
So I'd have to agree with you on that one too. So, okay, and my next one, we just did a video on this one and a review, and unfortunately, the new Green River, the 1885 bourbon is just pretty mediocre. Had high expectations because I like a liter bottle. $19.99. I thought, man, here we go. I got my
Green River. I mean, we're big Green River fans.
Green River, and this one just did not hit the spot. Yeah. So I have sampled it out a little bit, and I poured it in some mixed drinks. It's okay to mix drinks, but I don't look for a bottle to mix drinks with. Right. So probably won't go back to this one. Yeah. Anytime soon.
Yeah. But for $20, at least it's $20. Yeah. Next one up, this distillery I had never had anything from, but I was always interested in it. Price point kind of always kept me from pulling the trigger. But Nulu, and as you can tell, that's as much as I've drank from it. Do not like this. This one in particular is 100 proof Indiana exclusive. It says Indiana Batch 3. Don't really know what that means. I think they do source. It is non-chill filtered. All these things add up to me liking it, but I opened it up and no. And it's got this weird, when they say non-chill filtered, they mean it. It's got this weird black soot.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but whenever I shake this bottle around, it kind of swirls and it's kind of like a snow globe. But,
yeah. Not a quality that you're looking for.
No. Nulu was a big miss this offering in particular, and I've never had anything else.
I've not had much from them either, basically because of the price point. But I know there for the while they were all the rage. Everybody, you had to get Nulu. Right. But that was when my price point was quite a bit lower, and it wasn't in a range I was going to be getting. So I hadn't. I've had that, but the extra little bitty tiny sip that you didn't take, it wasn't very good.
No.
So my kind of a battle between which one I want to go with. Now I'll go with the 2XO.
Okay.
This is the Oak Series, American Oak. Okay. It's a 92 proofer, and just heard so many good things about 2XO, and they got some good products out. This Oak Series, for whatever, was just was off.
Yeah.
Had a bad taste to it, and I couldn't get used to it, and I tried it twice, and I just didn't care for it. Bought it with expectations because we were going to do a double oaked blind, and then I never would put this in it because I know that would be last place.
Yeah, and they make a French oak one that's
really
good.
Delicious.
Really good. Kind of a theme here. We're not hating on those distilleries. It's just these particular bottles haven't been great, but normally 2XO's pretty good stuff. So I don't know that I tried that one. So last one for me, and this one was pretty disappointing. This is an Old Elk. The reason why this was so disappointing, this was the first bottle of Old Elk I ever bought. It is a store pick, Liquor Express Barrel Selects, store in Alabama, I think, when I was down that way. And it is a wheated bourbon. And I thought, this is going to be great. Wheated bourbon, I like wheated bourbon. And it's 113.7 proof, so it's a pretty good proof for me. I've visited a couple different times. I think I'm the only one who's drank from it, unless I've given you some.
I've not had that.
Just not for me. Not for me. So, and what's really heartbreaking about it was like $75. So, ouch.
Now, we did one of these about 6 months ago. Maybe not 6 months ago. Maybe about 4 months ago. And I had an Old Elk offering on my list as well. And one of our good friends, Tom, he's a big fan of Old Elk. And I will say, for the record, that not all Old Elk is bad. Right. I said that in my... Oh,
did we?
The last time.
Did you?
Okay. He gave me several offerings that he had, the cigar blend, and a couple other offerings that were just plumb delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to knock on Old Elk across the board. Just a few that I've had, they're not very good, but there are some that I've had that are delicious. Yeah.
One weird thing is how loose these corks are. Of course, it wasn't loose this time because it hadn't been open for a while, but it feels like, you barely touch this thing.
It's a solid cork. So
I don't know. Weird. So I've seen other people complain about that too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, my last one on the list would be this Basil Hayden Toasted.
Okay.
Got this for Christmas, so that's a gift for my son. And I tried it. Just not very good. And the price point's not terrible. Basil Hayden across the board for the proof is a little high. But it was around $35 for this, so it wasn't horrible for a toasted offering. Yeah. But it just was not. The flavors were bad, and not to just dog on a brand. When I first started, I got a bottle of Basil Hayden. I liked the 80 proofer. It was okay, but there was no reason to be paying $30-some for an 80 proofer when I was so many other good offerings out there at a lower price at a higher proof. So that would be my one knock on Basil Hayden across the board. Because I think this is only 90.
It's 80 proof.
No, it's 80 proof.
I think all Basil Hayden stuff is.
Yeah, so that's 80 proof. So just underwhelming on flavor, and it's probably because they gotta just proof it down all the way to 80 proof, and they just lose all the flavor in it. Yeah. So.
Now I do like the dark rye. I don't know if you ever had that one.
I'll let you have a bottle that I got then.
I'll swap you a Nulu for it. All right. Well, that's just how bourbon goes. You get bottles you love, you get bottles that are okay, and then you get ones that you just really don't care for. And like we said, it's not a knock at these distilleries. It's just a knock at these bottles. In fact, one thing I noticed is that I think these were the only two where we haven't had other offerings that we can comment on that we do like. But as far as everything else, there's been other offerings at these distilleries. So don't hold that against these distilleries, and don't just take our word for it. Go out and taste them. If you have friends, that have them. Get a pour from them and see what you think. You might love them, so which is totally cool. So, all right, well, we're gonna end this episode the same way that we always do, and that is when you're with your family and your friends, always share your whiskey.